This video is sponsored by Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. Click on the link in the description and use the code PackerMan to save 10% on any order. What's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan, and welcome to this edition of The Fuel, where today we are going to be talking about the 2023 Tyson 250 at the North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Craftsman Truck Series. Just listen to what I just said there. The Truck Series at North Wilkesboro. Is something that a lot of us long-time NASCAR viewers never thought would happen. NASCAR returning to an original, a track that was one of the original tracks that was on the very first NASCAR back then strictly stock season, and it served as the finale to that championship, and it had been on the schedule every year up until 1996. And now, almost 3 decades later, North Wilkesboro has been resurrected. And let me tell you something. The crowd turnout for this truck race was absolutely unbelievable. I had not seen a crowd for a truck race that big in a long time. That just goes to show you how important this track is to the people in that community. I mean, they were there for practice. They were there for the All-Star Race heat races that took place after the truck race. And then you had just a full grandstand for the truck race. I mean, as the name of the episode says, it is the rebirth of an original. Now, as for the race itself, it was alright. I mean, it wasn't the greatest race in the world, but the first half of it was actually pretty good. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot in the way of lead changes. There were only 6 total lead changes during this race. 3 of them ended up being pure lead changes, though. The big thing, though, is there were 10 caution flags, most of which was in Stage 3. I think 6 cautions were in Stage 3. But we had 1,227 green flag passes, and Kyle Larson led 138 laps and ended up winning the race. But there was a lot of crazy 3 and 4 wide. The trucks were slip sliding all over the racetrack. Some were even trying to cut down in turn 2 to try to get down on the brand new asphalt that was down there to try to get some grip. So, I mean, overall, this was an alright race. It wasn't the greatest, but I'd say it's a solid return for the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And at the end, there was actually even some pit strategy, and there was also some cases where, especially in the beginning, where Christopher Bell and William Byron, who were also in this race, they took fresh tires, and they were just coming up through the field. So, fresh tires meant a lot in this race because of the worn out surface. I mean, this track has not been repaved since 1981. So it's a 42-year-old surface. So that just goes to show you how old the surface is. And there was even a jackass on Twitter that was like, "Oh, I can't believe it was a bad decision to not repave the truck because it just doesn't look good." Like, who gives a fuck how it looks? As long as it provides some good racing, which, for the most part, it did. Now, it definitely got messy in the second half of this race, I'm not going to lie. So, that definitely brings it down, and plus having an overtime finish, you know how I feel about those. But, I would say, overall, it was a solid race. We did have a thing where Bubba Wallace had the lead, and he was trying his damnedest to hold Larson back, who was on the fresher tires near the end. But I mean, even though he couldn't hold Larson back, and Larson took the lead for the final time on lap 238 with 12 laps to go. I mean, it was still a game effort by Bubba Wallace, and I think he ended up finishing 5th in the race, with Ty Majeski getting 2nd. So I would say overall pretty solid Craftsman Truck Series race for the most part. Wasn't great, but wasn't terrible either. So I'd say it's a pretty solid return for North Wilkesboro. So have to wait and see what the All-Star race brings. But my final rating for the Tyson 250 at the North Wilkesboro Speedway is a 5 out of 10. What's happening, ladies and germs? Thank you for watching tonight's video. If you're interested in sponsoring the channel, there is a link to my Patreon down in the description box below. Otherwise, hit like and subscribe if you want to continue watching great content like you saw today. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, this is the PackerMan signing out.